In this video, we are going to conquer molar mass. The unit for molar mass is grams per mole. The first thing I want to do with molar mass is look at individual elements. So let's look at aluminum. Aluminum is number 13 on the periodic table. And you can see the number 13 above the symbol, which tells us the number of protons, but we want to look at the number underneath, the 26.982. That is the number that tells us what the molar mass is. So let's look at this a little bit. So aluminum, we would say, has a molar mass of 26.98 grams per mole. And I'm getting this number right off the periodic table. And I am just keeping 2 digits past the decimal. Every teacher is different, so I'm just going to keep 4 significant figures in my molar mass calculations. So what does this mean? Aluminum's molar mass is 26.98 grams per mole. Okay, so what that means is 1 mole of aluminum is 26.98 grams of aluminum. So basically on a scale, if I weighed out 26.98 grams, I would have 1 mole of aluminum. So aluminum's molar mass is 26.98 grams per mole. So let's look at another element. Let's look at nitrogen. Nitrogen is number 7 on the periodic table. And if you look, the atomic mass underneath is 14.007. So I am going to use 14.01 grams per mole. And that is the molar mass of nitrogen, and that's it. Now we need to talk about how we use these numbers and calculate the molar mass of a compound. All right, so let's calculate the molar mass of aluminum sulfide. You will need a periodic table and a calculator. So we will first look at aluminum's molar mass. So we use the periodic table, you find aluminum, and then you look at the number underneath. It's 26.98, that's the number I'm going to use. So we have aluminum 26.98, and there's 2 aluminum, so I have to multiply that by 2. So if you take 26.98 times 2, you will get 53.96. And then we need to do the same thing for sulfur. So sulfur, we go to the periodic table, it's number 16, and it has a 32.06 underneath it. So the atomic mass is 32.06. And I have 3 of them. So I take 32.06 and I multiply it by 3. 32.06 times 3. You put that in your calculator and you will get 96.18. So you have these 2 numbers, 96.18 and 53.96, and you will add these 2 together. I already have 1 in my calculator, so I just have to put the other one in, and I get 150.14. So the molar mass of aluminum sulfide is 150.14 grams per mole. So let's box our answer. And that's the answer. That's all there is to it. So let's do another one. All right, our next compound is barium hydroxide. So in this situation, we have parentheses. And once again, we need to be experts at counting atoms. So if you're a little rusty on that, you need to watch the video on conquering counting atoms. So we will get the mass of barium, the mass of oxygen, and hydrogen, and then we add all of them together. So we'll do barium first. You go to the periodic table and find barium, who is number 56. Look at the atomic mass underneath it. It's 137.33. So 137.33. And I only have one barium, so that is the number I need. All right, the next one we'll look at is oxygen. So oxygen has 2 atoms. So I'm just going to put that 2 in parentheses right there. And if I go to oxygen on the periodic table, we see that its atomic mass is 15.999. So I'm going to use 15.99. And then you put that in your calculator, 15.99 times 2. And you get 31.98. All right, our last atom to look at would be hydrogen. So let's look at hydrogen on the periodic table. There's 2 hydrogens, 2 atoms of hydrogen, so we'll put that 2 there so we know to multiply the mass by 2. And hydrogen is number 1, and its mass is 1.008. So I'm going to use 1.01 for hydrogen. So you put that in your calculator if you need to. 1.01 equals 2.02. All right, so at this point, I have all the masses of the individual atoms, and I've multiplied it by the number of atoms present in the molecule. So now I add all 3 numbers, 137.33, 31.98, and 2.02. So use your calculator right now. 137.33 plus 31.98 plus 2.02, and then you should get a total of 171.33, and the unit is grams per mole. Now I really advise that you have a calculator and you work these problems out with me. And I work them out as I do them as well, so that pause is long enough for you to have time to put it in the calculator, and you can see if you're getting the same answers. If you're not getting the same answers, then we need to find out what you're doing incorrectly and back up and watch the video again and see where I'm getting the numbers from. So let's do one more. Okay, so let's calculate the molar mass of aluminum sulfate. We have a lot of subscripts here, and we have parentheses. So let's start with the first one, which is aluminum. Now there's 2 atoms of aluminum, so put that 2 in parentheses because we're going to multiply the mass we get off the periodic table by 2. So you find aluminum on the periodic table, it's number 13. The number underneath it is 26.98. So that's what I need to pull and put up here, 26.98. And put that in your calculator, 26.98 times 2. And you should get 53.96. All right, that's aluminum. So let's move on to sulfur. So sulfur has 3 atoms, so I'm going to put that in parentheses. And then I look on the periodic table, and the number on the periodic table that I need is 32.06. So it's 3 times 32.06. So put that in your calculator, 32.06 times 3. And you get a total of 96.18. All right, so our last atom to look at is oxygen. Oxygen has 4 times 3, 12 atoms in this formula unit. So whatever oxygen is on the periodic table, we multiply it by 12. Oxygen is number 8 on the periodic table, and it's 15.999. So I'm going to use 15.99. I take the 15.99 and I multiply that by 12, and I get 191.88. And here is where we add all three numbers together. I already have 191.88 in my calculator, so I'm just going to add 96.18 and then add 53.96. So our grand total is 342.02, and the unit is grams per mole. All right, 342.02. 53.96 plus 96.18 plus 191.88 is 342.02 grams per mole.